Hi, it's me again. Quite the deviation in style, isn't it? First two videos are about romance and D&D, then BAM! Horror and monsters! Hey, I play all sorts of games. Plus, I already have a lot of hours in Baldur's Gate, so... yeah. I can literally recite every dialogue in the game at this point, so I need a break. You can still watch my first two videos though if you wish. Links down below. Shh. More Baldur's Gate 3 will also be coming, of course, so no worries. But it's Spooktober, so let's go with the theme, right? Before we begin, though, why don't you subscribe? It'll motivate me to do more of these, so... So, Silent Hill. It's back again in the mainstream now, isn't it? Now that Konami announced a remake and a bunch of new games, I suppose we can once again go back to our favorite foggy town. Which is great news. But I also have my doubts. In all honesty, none of the newly announced games appealed to me that much. Yeah, I'm happy that Masahiro Ito and Akira Yamaoka are back, but I'm not the biggest fan of Bluebird team. I just really hope that they just stick to the main plot and focus on a good gameplay and give Ito and Yamaoka as much as creative freedom as they need. Why Silent Hill 2 though? I always felt like the first game deserved it a bit more. They could have continued the remakes, then on with the second and the third and the fourth game, like Resident Evil. But of course, they had to go with the most popular one, didn't they? Ugh. Not that I have anything against Silent Hill 2, of course. On the contrary, Silent Hill 2 has a very special place in my heart. I mean, there's a reason Silent Hill 2 is the most popular Silent Hill game, okay? The story is absolutely heartbreaking and the characters are unforgettable. The symbolism, the slow descent into darkness, the loneliness, it's an absolute masterpiece. Since the second game affected a lot of people like me so deeply, it also changed the direction of the whole Silent Hill series in the process. Because you see, friends, after Konami handed the series to the Western companies, the Westerners thought if they copied Silent Hill 2, they'd definitely succeed. Which they didn't. But the damage had been done, and the games from then on ended up being a freaking messed up therapy sessions for every character who went to Silent Hill. James's situation in the game wasn't just a simple messed up therapy session to begin with. James was a deeply depressed and delusional character. There were tons and tons of layers to his personality. James wasn't a bad person to begin with, despite ending up doing something absolutely unforgivable. That's the point here, and that's what the other game companies missed. James was never meant to be fixed or forced to pay for his sins by the town itself. He had to come to terms with what he did himself through the ordeals he went through during his time there. Pyramid Head didn't just show up with his buster sword to punish him. He was manifested by James's guilt and desire for punishment. You get it, right? So, what even is this? But I digress. This video isn't about James. But there might be a video about him one day, we'll see. All I'm saying is, from Team Silent's point of view, Silent Hill is more than a freaking sorting hat where you get judged and analyzed by the town. Despite there being a lot of different iterations of the same theme, and even comics and such, original Silent Hill's issues started with one and only unfortunate character. Alessa Gillespie. Alessa is one of the most tragic characters in video game history. The amount of physical and mental abuse this poor child goes through is absolutely insane. She is forced into a cult by her fanatical mother, gets abused in school for her supernatural powers, and is called a witch, then is forced to be impregnated by God and gets burned in her own house. Her suffering and pain and her spiritual power serves as a catalyst of creating the dark, twisted town we currently know. In order to stop the god from being born, Alessa splits her soul in two, and her other half is found as a baby on the side of the road by Harry Mason and his wife Jodie. They name the baby Cheryl and raise her as their own. After Harry's wife passes away very early into their marriage, Harry devotes himself to his daughter. One day, after Cheryl constantly asks Harry to take her to Silent Hill, Harry takes a vacation there. And you might guess what happens next. Dahlia once again forces her daughter through the ritual, trying to combine Alessa and Cheryl to birth God. And you, as Harry, try to find your own daughter and get her out of there. Unfortunately, Cheryl and Alessa gets merged, but Harry manages to stop the ritual. As Alessa dies, she hands Harry a baby and Harry escapes with the child. And that child is today's topic, Heather Mason. Heather's story begins 17 years later after the first game. Her father changes her name from Cheryl to Heather to protect her from the Order, the cultists from the first game, and they live a secluded life for a long time. The game starts with Heather sitting in a random cafe inside a mall, waking up from a terrible nightmare. Then she walks up and calls Harry on the phone, which immediately gives us an idea about her relationship with her dad. Without even hearing the whole conversation, we immediately know that, yep, they get along. And yep, they have a good father-daughter relationship.
I love you too, Dad.
I mean, it's not hard to deduce that fact. Since we played the first game as Harry, we pretty much can guess what kind of a father he was to Heather. A good one, is what I'm saying. Right after that scene, you see a random middle-aged dude following you around. I mean, yes, he's a private detective who eventually becomes a dad figure to Heather, but this scene still irked me. Then Heather meets a weird cultist named Claudia who makes no sense whatsoever, and she starts telling her to remember who she was.
Don't you know? Your power is needed.
How should I know?
I am Claudia.
So what?
Remember me, and your true self as well. Also, that which you must become. The one who will lead us to paradise with blood-stained hands.
Claudia, right? Did you do all this?
It was the hand of God.
But things get worse when Heather actually makes it home. Because Harry is dead.
Dad?
No! For someone who has never played Silent Hill 1 and has no idea what the plot is, this scene might not have the impact it is supposed to. But for someone who played the first game, this scene is absolutely gut-wrenching. Because we spent a lot of time with this character. We bonded with him. So when we see Harry like that, the pain we share with Heather actually strongly binds us to her character, if we didn't have that bond already. After this tragic scene, Heather heads to Silent Hill, swearing to have her revenge on Claudia. She meets a lot of people along the way, like Vincent and Leonard, who only help her for their own benefit and nothing more. Even Douglas, who at this point takes the father figure role, points a gun at her, saying that if she is gone, this nightmare might end too.
What are you doing?
Maybe killing you here is the only way to end this nightmare.
Yeah, you might be right.
My god, this 17-year-old girl can't trust no one in this game. Even the only monster, Valtiel, who acts like it protects Heather, is only doing that so that she can birth God, which has been growing inside her all this time. This game has everything that an adolescent girl fears at one point in her life, and Heather goes through it in the most screwed up way. Stalked through a messed up town by a crazed man, forced pregnancy, tons of blood imagery, which is an obvious reminder of periods, and many more motherhood symbolisms. To quote Tango Mushi here, who I actually got inspired from while I was making this video, and I will definitely link her video down in the description, she says that Silent Hill literally mocks Heather throughout her journey. With the mirror scene, with the way the monsters look, with the way people treat her. This is what I mean by Silent Hill being more than a place where you get judged and get free monstrous therapy to accept your sins. Because Silent Hill treats Heather worse than any other character, in my opinion. But you see, despite going through the worst things, Heather's personality really shines through everything. And that's what I really wanted to talk about. We live in a time where writing a strong female character has become questionable. Everyone has an idea how a strong female lead should be, but no one is ever satisfied with how they are written. In my opinion, what makes a strong female lead is not the fact that they can kick everybody's butts or whatnot. I mean, sure, that helps. But did you guys notice how many Mary Sues we ended up having for the sake of strong female character? I think what makes a female lead strong is their relatability. That's the core of everything, is it not? The need to relate to a character. But nowadays, a lot of writers tend to ignore it completely. You cannot sacrifice the humanity of a character for the sake of making them strong. We humans relate to weaknesses and vulnerability more because our lives aren't perfect either. There will always be ups and downs. Your character can be stoic and powerful, but the minute you rip off their humanity for the sake of creating a powerful character, nobody can relate to them anymore. A perfect personality will always ruin a character, because nobody is perfect. Hi, this is editing me. I just wanted to clear something up because I realized this is kind of open to misunderstandings. I just wanted to say, by creating a relatable character, I don't mean create weak, vulnerable characters all the time, like where they are constantly crying or whatever. I mean create really good characters, like write really good characters, but occasionally make them show certain human emotions, certain vulnerabilities. That's what I mean. Like, I did 2 videos on Astarion, and Astarion is a good example of that. Like, he is constantly pushing away people, blah blah blah, but he occasionally shows certain vulnerabilities that makes us love that character, right? So that's what I meant. So yeah, keep watching. Bye bye. The only reason Ripley or Laurie Strode are so well loved is not only because they are strong female leads, but also they are very relatable in their situations. How realistic their emotions are and their will to survive makes them great female leads. And Heather fills that role perfectly for me. Just by looking at her, you can realize that she's just a regular teenager. Kind of tomboyish, has her blemishes, still trying to find her own style. She can have snarky attitude on certain things, but she's also kind of shy. Of course, she has her outbursts in certain situations too.
No, not again. Did she do this too?
So she's instantly relatable for anyone who has been through adolescence and remembers their teenage years. What makes Heather a strong character, however, is not the fact that she fearlessly kills monsters or whatever. She is scared, but she still pushes through. She isn't fearless, but she's brave enough to see the end of her journey, no matter how sad or painful things are. I feel like this comes from the fact that Heather is both Alessa and Cheryl. All of them are the same people, but the difference is, while Alessa suffered greatly in Dahlia's hands, Heather grew up with Harry. Alessa wanted a world without pain because of the things she went through, even though that very mindset was what her mother used her for. Heather, on the other hand, who grew up with Harry, came to terms with the fact that pain is a part of life. Despite how much she also suffered when Harry was gone, she manages to see the wisdom behind it.
Oh, Alessa, the world you wanted is nearly here.
That's not what I want.
Not you. Alessa, your true self.
But I am Alessa. My little Claudia, my dear sweet sister.
Alessa, is it you? Oh, how I've missed you.
I don't need another world. It's fine the way it is.
But you said it yourself. The world must first be cleansed with fire.
But that's not what I want now.
Alessa, don't you want happiness? Have you become blind to all the hopeless suffering in the world? We all need God's salvation.
Listen, suffering is a fact of life. Either you learn how to deal with that or you go under. You can stay in your own little dream world, but you can't keep hurting other people. Besides, I'll never forgive you for hurting my father.
The thing I like most about Heather is after Claudia swallows the, that thing and turns into a weird demonic creature, and when Heather defeats her for good, she just feels empty. Her father is still gone, and there's nothing she can do to bring him back. She went through horrible things in the span of hours, and the conclusion was that even if she managed to stop Claudia, in the end, the character we met in the beginning is gone. She's forced to grow up in just a few hours, and her life is changed forever. But even if the ending feels like Heather has lost everything forever, she actually got something back. Her real identity, which the game forced her to be ever since the beginning. Though the identity she ends up having is not Alessa, but Harry's daughter, Cheryl, like she has always been.
Heather, did
You
you...
don't have to call me that. I'm not hiding anymore.
You want me to use your real name? What was it again?
Cheryl. The name my father gave me.
You gonna let your hair color go back too?
I don't know. Don't you think blondes have more fun?
Silent Hill 3 is a story about a journey through adolescence to adulthood and leaving your past behind, no matter how painful it is. Heather's journey also shows us that no matter what people may force you to become, you can become who you choose to be. Honestly, we need more coming-of-age stories like this, even in the horror theme. Because I feel like in recent years, for the sake of lore, the main characters in horror genre get less and less interesting in my opinion. Lore is important, of course, and God knows how many times I binged Five Nights at Freddy's theories from Game Theory. But I feel like we need deeper main characters in this genre too. I actually hope that Bloober team can really pull the Silent Hill 2 remake off, so that we may finally end up with Silent Hill 1 and 3 remakes too, and even 4. God, I hope it happens. I want this series back in the mainstream. Anyway, those are my opinions and analysis about Silent Hill 3. And watching hours and hours of Silent Hill footage had made me have nightmares again, so I'll try to get therapy after this video. God. Hey, why don't you guys comment down below what I've missed? I actually love reading about other people's analysis too, so... And what do you guys think about the Silent Hill 2 remake? Do you guys think they can actually pull it off? If you guys have any ideas what I should be talking about next, let me know. Because, God, I need ideas. Anyways, thank you for your support, and I'll see you next time. Sayonara!